guys, this is Stephanie from Milkshed, and we are here for Yarn Chat number 10. Per usual, I've started this like 4 times, and I wanted to be like, I'm back! And then I was like, I would never do that. I would feel very silly doing that. But I'm back! Every time I say that it feels like it's been so long since I've done one of these, and it does, it feels like a very long time. I really want to do them every week, but then when the week comes around, our shop, our primary business, is open on a half-day Saturday, and every day I go into work on Saturday and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get off and I'm going to film my yarn chat. And then I'm like, I don't really have anything to talk about. I don't think I could come up with anything to talk about every week. So I wait, and then by the time I get back to it, I'm like, oh my gosh, there is so much stuff to talk about. We're going to be here for forever. I should really fix that. I should get on a better schedule, and then it could be more predictable for both of us. I'm Stephanie. This is the Yarn Chat. Milkshed is the name of my blog, and once upon a time I actually used to update that. I've been feeling very guilty about it, so I think that I'm going to be getting back to blogging before long. No promises. If you guys are returning viewers, thank you so much for coming back. If you guys are new viewers, then welcome. I would love to know how you found out about the podcast. And what are we going to talk about? I have a few new additions to my stash. I have a finished object. My Yarnbox WatchMeWIP event has been making me, somehow, I've made a ton of progress. What else? I got some new projects coming up that I've been thinking about. I'm already antsy to get on to the next thing, and yeah. Boom. Look who came prepared. Already wearing her finished object, so I didn't have to awkwardly put it on in front of you. This is I'm doing this for the Through the Loops summer knit along. I think the last day for that is September 15th, so I'm getting like right in under the deadline. This is my Lispenard Cowl. It is actually, I made this with Elspeth Lavold silky wool. I used these aren't the actual ones here. I don't know where I put them, but I used my Knit Picks interchangeables. I think that the pattern called for like a size 7, size 9, something like that. And whatever it called for, I felt like it was way too big for this yarn. So I went down like maybe 2 sizes from what the pattern says. And I gotta say, I have been so dedicated to carbons. It's all I've been using lately. And I use these, and I like fell in love all over again. I get a lot of people asking me about needle sets and like what's a good option. And I stand by these Knit Picks. I mean, I've said it before, my set is actually an older set. It was a gift from my mom, and she bought it from a local yarn shop, so it was already in their inventory. And I think since then, the manufacturing on these have changed. I don't think that the needles have really changed that much, but there are certain sizes, like my 6s and my 4s, that I've used a ton, and I can definitely tell that they're getting worn down at the edges. But whether it was a 5 or a 7 that I used for this project, they were like fresh and new because I never used that size. And it was awesome. I really love using these, and I'm going to get back to it. So if you are somebody who is looking to upgrade your needle game a little bit, but you don't want to go full-blown addies and, you know, carbons and whatever it may be, I stand by this. I loved working on these once again. And I'm glad that it reminded me how much I love them. So I'm definitely going to be using them again. So this is my finished cowl. I think the last time I showed you guys, it's like a scarf shape. You just start at one end and you knit a really long piece, and then you add some buttonholes, which I did horrible. My buttonholes are in the right place. My buttons, I sewed them on so poorly. I need to go back and redo them. But I think the last time I showed you guys this, I only had like 5 repeats done. And in the end, I think we did something like 45 repeats. So this was like no small investment. I am honestly not sure what I think of the final cowl. I love the motif. I love this. I love the look of this panel, true confession time, I don't love doing cables. I did cables without a cable needle. What do you want to call that? Is there like a term for that? Doesn't matter. You like slip stitches on and off your needle and you don't have to use a cable needle. So that helped, but I just don't love doing cables. It's not my favorite thing. But I love the way that it looks. And once I made a little tweak to the pattern, it was very easy to memorize and it was very easy to read the pattern to tell where I was. So I could just pick it up and set it down. And I was pretty monogamous with this for quite a while to get it done. I love the pattern. I love the look of the pattern. I love the theory, but I think that I may have picked just a little too, I don't know what I want to say, too small of a yarn, too loose of a yarn. Why is this so dark? Lighten up, buddy. It's just very like drapey, and I think that maybe the weight of the buttons is too much, and that it just ends up being this like big, you can't really see the pattern that much. So I gotta figure out how, oh, that lightened up. I gotta figure out how to wear it. It's a good size, it's a good pattern. I don't know if I said it, it's Lispenard is the name of the pattern. I don't know, do you ever work on one of those projects where you're like, good yarn, good pattern, but it just doesn't really come together in the end? I'm definitely not unhappy with it. It's just, it is a, as Tim Gunn says, whole lot of look. It's not the easiest thing to wear. I mean, if I just want to like throw it around my neck for like something big and warm, then it's great. But I feel like you can't really see, I'm just staring at myself. I feel like you can't really see the pattern all that much. So I don't know, I'm not upset, but I don't love it, if we're being honest, but I am happy it's done. I like the color, it fits into my wardrobe well, and I said that I was going to wear it. This is one of my work shirt uniforms, we've talked about this a million times. I said I was going to wear it at work, and it's very good for that. It's like easy to just throw around the neck and be really comfortable. Frankly, I don't think that snowmobilers really care about my lace motifs on my cowls. So, you know, for what it was intended for, rock on. It's awesome. Let's see how it looks. I did the split thinking that I could kind of like put it over the shoulder and separate some of the button weight out, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's just like a big comfy cowl. Awesome. So there you go. That is my finished object. It's a very pretty, I don't know if I said it or just thought it. I'm just rambling. I like this little look so much that I could definitely see translating it onto a blanket, because it's just, I think it looks awesome. It has been quite cold in Wyoming lately. We pretty much need to turn on our heat, but today it is not cold enough to be wearing a cowl the whole time. So next up, other things that I'm doing. Oh, okay. Going back. That cowl was for the Through the Loops summer knit along that I said. It was also one of my projects for the Yarnbox WatchMeWIP event. We still have like 2 months to go on that, but my team has been killing it the first 2 weeks. I think we're in the lead. We've been in the lead both weeks, which is exciting. So I haven't even submitted that for points yet. I need to take a picture of it and get my points in so I can actually throw some up on the board and feel like I have been contributing to our winning weeks. So I submitted 4 projects for WatchMeWIP. They were my Lispenard, done, my Color Affection shawl, my Brooklyn tweed sweater that we're calling Gary because we don't know how to pronounce it, and Artisian, which is a shawl that I have not shown you yet. I've put it on the blog. I haven't brought it on here, so I brought it today. So 1, boom, done, got some points for the team. Next, I have, this is a 31 bag that was a gift for Julie's Diary of a Yarn Snob swap. Laura sent this to me. It has been like it's like so sturdy and it's almost like rubberized inside. It has been the best bag. And okay, podcasts, we all know by now that they're like very enabling. You see all these people with these great things and you're like, yeah, I totally need that. I definitely need that. And then you're like on Etsy getting stuff. After Laura sent me this, I finally understand perk for me of project bags. We have a German Shepherd with long hair. We have our new puppy with long hair. We have a cat with gray hair. I got hair everywhere. When I look at how, like, gross. I mean, I vacuum, like, constantly. But when I look at how gross my project bags get, I think, like, oh my gosh, what was I dragging my knitting through before? You know, I throw them in my truck that I drive to work. I take them to work sometimes. I, like, knit. It's to get anywhere that's not our town, it's a 90-minute minimum trip one way. So I take knitting along all the time. So, like, our gross work trucks that we use to, like, deliver ATVs and snowmobiles, my knitting goes in there. I'm all aboard the project bag train now. And for that, we can thank Julie and her enabling and Laura for sending me my first legit one. Okay, getting to it. This is Color Affection. You guys, I mean, super, super, super popular pattern. You can find it on Ravelry very easily. Once you see how small these cakes are, you will see how much progress I've made. This is a Madeline Tosh one of a kind that was from that grab bag on Webs. This is another Madeline Tosh one of a kind. I think we know that this is supposed to be Coquette is the colorway. And then the last one, the cake was falling apart, so I wanted a ball. This is Becoming Art CeeLo, I think it's called CeeLo Fingering, in the color Lovebirds. And I just coincidentally got these three in the mail on the same day and thought that they would make a perfect color affection. So the last time you guys saw it, I had kind of stalled on things because Andy from Andre Sue Knits had a problem with a shawl of hers bleeding. And I was like, and it was that Coquette color. And I just kind of paused. I didn't know what to do. I was working on something else, so I just stopped. And from her podcast and her Ravelry board, and then me mentioning it on here and everything on Instagram, there have been so many suggestions for ways to hopefully prevent color bleeding. You can do a vinegar soak, you can do a citric acid soak. People told me about putting color catchers in the water. So I just decided, like, I don't have any stark contrast between the colors. I'm just going to keep knitting. So I really should have knit to the end of the row so I could spread this out better, but I did not. The last time you guys saw it, okay, we're going to go from the bottom. The last time you guys saw it, I had done color 1. I got through, it goes from like here to here. What am I doing? Color, yeah, from here to here is the striping for color 2. And then I had only done like this little bit of adding in color 3. And since then, I have done a ton more. When you do the banding for color 3, you do it in short rows. So your first ones down here are like really, it's kind of at an angle. They're like really short, just back and forth. And now I got this big old loop. I think the last time I counted, I was at like 300 plus stitches and increasing every row. So I am, let me see. This was so dumb. I should have knit to the end of the row. I'm like halfway through right here. So I can't even open it up and show you well. This is, can we see? Yeah, so this is just colors 1 and 2. And then you can see where I'm bringing in color 3 here. And this was my last wrap and turn. So I just have that far left to go until the end. I think you do it in chunks of like 3 or 4. So this is something like 15 more rows of this section until I get to the end. So I'm making major progress. I keep wondering if I chose yarn with enough contrast, because I haven't really seen anybody do a variegated skein as one of their colors. But I think when I pull it back like that, I mean, it's a little tone on tone, but I really love all these colors. Hey, Baxter. Don't come over here. We're not doing that this time. I love all these colors. I love the way that they play together. I like knitting with all of them, and I really can't wait. Nope. Stop. Hi. We just got to do it, guys. Okay. I really like how they play together, and I just can't wait to have this like big, beautiful, dusty rose kind of shawl. So I would say, I don't think I could have this done within a week's time, but surely before the end of the month, which is still well before, stop buddy, well before the Yarnbox deadline. So this is my second project that I'm working on. This is a project bag that I just purchased. I have been following the Fawn Knits on Instagram, and I kept seeing her bag releases every week. So I finally went to her yarn store, what am I saying? Her Etsy shop, and checked it out. It's called The Fawn and the Fox. And I know that Julie has mentioned them before, and what was the order? I think I heard that she had a discount code coming, Julie did, for 20% off. I don't know if that's still valid or not. And I was like, oh man, they're all going to be sold out. So before I even saw the discount code, I like jumped on there and I was like, I'm finally just going to get some bags. So this is, I think this is the small size, which I think is like quite, so cute, quite generously sized. Like you could easily do a 2 skein project in here, even though it's a small size. Love it. Don't. Always hitting buttons. I'm always good for that. We're going to put the keyboard away. It has this contrasting blue inside, which I love. So this is one that I have talked about, but I don't think that I've ever even shown on here. I showed it on the blog. This is also one of my WatchMeWIP projects. It's on a cable that is far too short right now, so I don't know if I can stretch it out. This is my, oh my gosh, it looks so red. It is actually, the color is called Blood Orange. It looks like neon. It looks horrifying. This was one of my Fiberista yarns. It is the Camel blend. And what was the Love Spun, I think was the company. Don't do it. Don't do it. Guys, say hi to Baxter. So this was my Love Spun fingering in Blood Orange. The pattern is called Artisian, and I honestly have not worked on this for so long that I barely remember where I am. I know that I attached the second skein. So this is another one that does a ton of short rows, and it makes this like very modern, kind of angular shawl. I quite like the pattern. It will probably make another one of these. The yarn is nice, but this is one of those colors where I was like, I'm not so sure on it, but it'll probably come around. And then I started working on it and thought, like, yeah, I've come around on it. And then now I think I've swung back the other way. And it's just been too long since I worked on it. The whole point of this Yarnbox Watch Me Whip event is to take projects that have been on the needles for forever and just get them done so that we can move on to new and better projects. And this is one of those. All these stitch markers make it seem like there's a lot of counting. It's actually really intuitive, the pattern. I think it's going to be beautiful when it's done. I just don't know if it's a color for me. I don't know if it's anything that I would ever wear. So we're going to plow through. Worst case, I have a gift to give somebody, or I will just, save it for Christmas, give it away to a friend, whatever it may be. The color just looks so insane on screen. But I am excited to see this finish and see how it all blocks out. So not a ton of enthusiasm there, but it's a good one to finish. No big deal. So that is number 3 of my Yarnbox Watch Me Whip. I'm saving the biggest and best for last. The one that I really care about the most. So in my huge old bag from, not old, huge brand new, huge old bag from the Fawn and the Fox. How cute is this fabric? I love it so much. I saw this and I was like, this is the one I really need. And then I just got the other one because it was cute. And I figured if I'm paying shipping, why not? This is my sweater for the my sister's knitter Brooklyn Tweed knit along. And then this is project number 4 for Yarnbox Watch Me Whip. I was carding this sweater all over the place. And when you work on something like a shawl or a hat, you get through it like relatively quickly. When you're like hauling sweater pieces all over the place, they were just getting mangled. And then I was thinking like, I gotta get this into a proper bag. Let me get this open. There's nothing wrong with the zipper. I'm just being ridiculous. It has this coordinating, it's like a, can you see that? Like a cute little leaf flower motif. And the yarn that I'm using for this, I have one skein left. This is from Skein Yarn. It is a sport. The color is called Moroccan Mint. And I picked up, I think, 6 skeins of this. So that's what I'm using. And then let's dig it out and show progress. So the last time I showed you guys, I had finished the back and just barely started on the front. I have since finished the front. So this is obviously one half of the front. So ribbing, and we got the same shaping on the sides, and then you divide for a V-neck. The V-neck looks like, whoa, like down to my belly button right now. But you add a ribbing, and it is quite a low V. I think that it's meant to be worn with like a button-up or something underneath it. I did change the depth of the V a little bit so that I could wear it with just like, hopefully with nothing, but with maybe just a tank top underneath it. So we got ourselves almost a sweater, friends. Really the question that I have right now, and I know what you're going to tell me, but I'm going to ask anyway. I know what the answer is. I just don't want to believe it. Do I really have to block these pieces before I seam them? Or can I just seam them? I think I have to block them. The pattern definitely says to wet block 2 dimensions. I'm not sure. Not sure. That's not what I want to say. I'm not worried about meeting certain dimensions. I don't need to like block aggressively to meet. Nope. Stop. So old, so sweet. I will hang out with him afterwards. I don't need to block it aggressively to meet any certain dimensions. I'm not worried about that at all. I just want to try it on. I don't want to like, you know, I did a little, not like fudging, but I adjusted things a little bit based on the gauge and the yarn that I was using, because it does call for a fingering weight. So I just want to try it on and see if it fits. And I wish that I could like quickly just seam it together, at least like up top. Is that horrible? I don't know. So the back's complete. Here we have the back. Here we have the front. I'm excited. It is coming together like so well. I keep wondering when I'm gonna mess it up. And then I have one sleeve that I've started. The not issue, but the thing that I'm dealing with the sleeves right now is that it is written to be a full length sleeve. And I'm so tall that full length sleeves are never full length on me. So I'm so used to wearing my sleeves at kind of 3/4 length. That's just what I prefer. It's more comfortable, especially when I'm at work and like working with my hands all day. I don't want sleeves getting in the way. So I'm trying to figure out how to make them 3/4 length and then get the right increases so that they end up the right size to do the seamed shoulder. So that's where we are. But this is going along really well. I think that this knit along ends, is it the end of September or end of October? I don't know. I thought that there was just no chance in the world that I was ever going to finish it on time. And I thought that I probably wasn't going to have enough yarn. But it looks like I'm like on pace for it to go really well. I'm really, really pleased. I love the pattern. I love the way it's coming together. I'm just excited. So I'm sure that you will see more progress. I keep saying projects instead of progress. I got problems, guys. You'll see more progress on this the next time I update, definitely. So for projects, I think that's it. I think that's what I have going on right now. I'm trying really hard to stick to the WatchMeWIP process. I want to get stuff done before he looks so angry. Hey, Bax. Hey, Grumpy. Can you hear him purring? What a weirdo. I'm trying really hard to stick to it. I want to like get my stuff done. I want to get points for my team. And I have so many ideas in my mind, but I'm like resisting the urge to start on them. So there will always be more time. There will always be more yarn. I will get to them eventually. But for now, those 4 finished one. So now those 3 are like the main priority, and they're all chugging along. I'm really excited about it. Okay, so next up for kind of this stash enhancement section is I realized that there was just like a weird crossover in timing where I didn't show you last month's yarn box. I think that it arrived like immediately after I filmed, and then I ended up deciding to trade it, so it never showed up on camera. So Yarnbox, last month we got yarn from a company called, I don't know if it's Fido or Fido. My like high school French is telling me that you pronounce the word cadeau. That's like, I think that's gift. Don't make fun of my French. So I would say Fido is the name of the company. Beautiful yarn, it really was. It just wasn't really my style. I liked all of them. It was super variegated. The color, I don't remember the name of the color. So I will put it up on screen maybe with a picture so you guys can see. And in the reveal, it's funny, in the reveal, the yellowy red one was like super yellow red, and I was like not into it at all. But then once the skeins started coming in from the actual shipments, they were beautiful, and I really, really hoped for that one. And then on the alternate end of things, the one that I received in the reveal was like really green and teal. I was all about it. I was really excited. But the one I received was like way more on the yellow end of things, as were most. So I think it's just, I mean, it's just a difference in like photography, and it's the nature of hand-dyed yarn. So no big issue there. I threw it up in the trade thread, and somebody immediately wanted it. And what I said was, I'll take like, I went through the past like 3 months, the Molly Girl, the Oink pigments, and then the Fido yarn. Fido, what did we decide on Fido? I said like, I could probably throw out like a dozen color options that I would take from all those months, and just said like, let me know what you got. And the first person to send me a message actually said that she had the same Molly Girl that I received. This was my first yarn box. It was the Molly Girl Diva Fingering in A Face to Call Home. So now, I mean, I talked to you guys how I wasn't huge on this sparkle, but I really, really loved this color. And seeing it again, I really, really love it still. So now I have 2. I wound mine intending to do another Through the Loops pattern, and then it just kind of stalled because I was having problems. I've talked about it before, but seeing this again, I just love this color. It's like teals and navy, and it's quite soft even with the sparkle in it. So now I have, what, 435, so I have 870 yards of just this colorway to do a bigger project. I'm excited about it. So I ended up trading last month's yarn box. The company I'm very excited about. It is now on my list of ones to try. You know, you don't always get the perfect skein, but the nice thing about Yarnbox is that it is very, very easy to trade. And then just a day or 2 ago, I went to my P.O. box, and this month's yarn box was here. So this says, rainy afternoons, there's nothing worse than chilly toes on a rainy day. Rain City Knits is paired up with us for the perfect solution with the durable 75% merino, 25% nylon. Great selection of semi-solid colors. Awesome. And then there isn't a picture of the sock pattern here. Per usual, it is it's online. And I will just go download it and hopefully insert a picture for you guys. So I think there were maybe 5 different colors, and I received navy, like a true navy. It's coming across probably a little brighter than it really is. It's very similar to my shirt. It is just a true navy. Here it is. Let me see. Oh my gosh. Rain City Knits. It says each skein is individually hand dyed with love in Vancouver. Minor variations are a reflection of this process. And then, oh, here we go. 463 yards, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, colorway navy blue. Very pleased. It's not like dynamic and variegated, but I think Julie said this, that sometimes we fall, well, I know I do this without question. I fall for like really like wild, crazy, saturated, beautiful skeins when they're all skeined up. And then I start knitting with them and I'm like, this is insane. Like my wardrobe realistically is a navy blue v-neck shirt and some jeans. So having a yarn that matches my wardrobe perfectly is like, it might not be like, whoa, super colorful and bold and exciting, but this is more of what I need in my life. So it's this kind of like tonal navy blue, and I'm very excited about it. It's soft. It's a beautiful color. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I know it will go to good use. So those are my past 2 months Yarnbox, because you guys just haven't seen it in a while. Okay. We got a whiny dog. I hope you guys can't hear it. I'm going to feel horrible. Alan's out there. They're not like being abused. They're fine. They're just complaining probably because they know that I'm locked in this room without them. Okay, I'm going to do a little tangent talking about stash enhancement for me. Please know that I say this all without judgment. But I was on Ravelry and I saw a thread about how people store their yarn to keep moths out. And so you know, you've seen it before. I put my yarn in baggies and then I put them up in those boxes. Total sidebar. So many of you have mentioned, what side? My Black Keys poster. Yes, that is a Black Keys poster. And then normally I have like a plain white frame with just a white background. That's so I can take photos against it. But I threw up the picture that's actually supposed to go there. I think these are both from the same print shop. But I went through this phase where I was, I went through this phase, where was my, there we go. I went through this phase where I was really, really into like concert posters from small print shops. I still am actually, but they don't really make as much sense in our like log cabin style home here. So I've gotten away from it a little bit, but I have so many of these posters and I still love them. So I have thought about moving that bookcase over to that short wall and then doing like just a huge, oh my god, I gotta stop moving this. You guys are gonna get sick. This just big gallery wall of like band posters behind me, but someday. Okay, I was on Ravelry and people were talking about how to store their yarn so that you don't get moths in it. And I had this moment where I was thinking like, why do we have so much stuff that we need to come up with a plan for how to store it so that it's not destroyed? I'm going to pause and let the dogs out. I'm back. We are trying very hard to potty train a puppy, so I really shouldn't blatantly ignore cries when he wants to be let out. So I dealt with that. Okay, what I was saying. Without judgment, for me, if I'm making an effort to like pare down the amount of stuff that we have in our house, and I am, getting rid of like DVDs and like college books that I kept literally only because they filled the bookshelves, which no longer makes sense for me personally. Getting rid of like shoes I don't wear and clothes I don't wear, then why would I keep so much yarn that I then have to worry about storing so that it's not destroyed? Stuff that I'm not going to use for so long that I have to flip it every year to make sure that there wasn't any kind of infestation. That's just me. I love having a big stash. I like having stuff to pull from. I like having choices. I like collecting yarn just because it's beautiful for no better reason. And I have by no means like been able to curb myself from doing it. It's just something that I'm trying to keep in the back of my mind. I'm trying very hard. You know, I still get this stuff. So I certainly, I certainly can't be like, oh, I don't have a big stash with judgment. I still get this stuff, but hopefully that's enough to keep me moving forward on projects and actually getting a lot of stuff done. That's a goal. And then enough to be interested, but not so much that I'm just like, buy. And then I end up with all this stuff that I then have, you know, I buy it and I spend money on it. And then I've created work for myself to find a way to store it so that it doesn't deteriorate or get infested, bugs, smells, whatever it may be over the years. for some reason that is stuck in my mind. And I'm definitely trying. I am not perfect. I'm not there yet. I'm definitely trying to buy with projects in mind and not just like buy for the sake of buying. So hopefully, I know we all love to see new stuff. I love to see new stuff. I love to share new stuff. I want you guys to like double your stash every time you record a new podcast because I want to see all the new stuff that you got. So kind of balancing these two it's difficult. It's hard. I struggle with it. I'm not great at it, but I'm trying to keep it in my mind. And it's possible that going forward, we won't see as many stash additions unless they are with a very specific project in mind. But today, on this day, I have not achieved perfection in this realm, and I definitely have stuff to show you. So I already showed you my new project bags, what I'm very excited about. That's one thing where I'm like, I want to have enough to cover the projects that I'm working on, but there are so many people making like beautiful project bags, and I just can't get them all. I can't do it. So I have a few, they're covering my needs for now, and I'm sure I'll break at some point and get more, but for now, that's what I got. So those came in quite recently. And then the other thing is that the lovely Andre Sue Knits Etsy shop has been in my favorites for quite a while. Probably from the day I found her podcast. And I knew I wanted to buy yarn. I mean, it's beautiful, it's hand-dyed, I love it. But I also don't often work on one skein projects. I like to have, 2 skeins just in case. In worst case, you end up with some leftovers to do minis. So I was kind of like stalking and waiting to see the perfect skein. And then I want to say it was one or two, episode like 19 or 20. She shared this like new dye technique. I don't know if that's the one that was used for this, like low water immersion, some combination of those words. And she held up these skeins and I was like, boom, sold. Those are the ones. Went right over to the Etsy shop, saw there were 2 skeins, had to have them immediately. So, pardon the noise. I'm going to finally take them out. Oh, I am excited because I saw the colors, but I hadn't opened them till now. So soft. So these, beautiful, absolutely beautiful, like teals, purples, there's some just green. This is Felicity worsted weight. I love the name Felicity for a variety of reasons. Did you guys ever read American Girls? Felicity was my favorite. Enchanted Evening, such beautiful colors. They really, really are. And I'm sure that I'm going to make like just a super wearable, wear it every day, casual, like big cowl or hat or something for winter that is like not lace, not intricate, just like big and beautiful and squishy and comfortable that I can throw on. And that's what these are for. They're so beautiful. I think that you can see the colors pretty well there. I'm very excited about this. I was like holding out for the right one and I finally found it. And then she also sent this cute little project progress. Again, what is with the project progress? I think I have like a problem, guys. Progress keeper in this little turtle shape. Love it. So that was packaged beautifully. I'm very excited about it. Those are 2 Etsy shops, Fawn and the Fox and Andre Sue Knits, that have been on my list for a while, and I held out waiting for exactly what I wanted, and I'm very excited about it. So yeah, you guys saw my new Yarnbox yarn. Andre Sue Knits, Fawn and the Fox. What else do I have? I have one more skein of yarn that 100% contradicts everything I just said and should be proof that I have lofty goals that I cannot follow through on, but we are all works in progress. As people, I bought a skein that I had literally no idea what I'm going to do with. I went by my local yarn shop and I saw this Palouse Yarn Company again. They still had some. It looks very intense. It's not nearly this wild in person. It's like a way more muted. Burnt orange brown combo. And I think maybe I just had it in mind for a swap with somebody. It's so beautiful. I'm really not an orange person. I don't really know what to do with it. I guess I could become an orange person. It was just so beautiful. I thought of like my mom. I thought that I could swap with someone. It was just too beautiful to pass up. And I like supporting our local yarn shop in Jackson Hole, because if they disappeared, it would be my greatest nightmare. I would be so upset. The color is called Bittersweet. And this is, I think I showed you this when I talked about the swap that I did, the stuff that I sent. 100% superwash merino, 475 yards, Palouse Yarn, company.com. And this is called Merino Fine, hand dyed in Moscow, Idaho. So just a really beautiful orange that I have no purpose for. I wish it would come across accurately because it looks like electric orange and it's much more muted and beautiful. But this is one totally senseless addition to mustache because I am not perfect by any means. With that, I think that we've covered all the important stuff. Works in progress, finished objects, my WatchMeWIP progress. I got that one right. My stash additions. And I'm just going to chit chat for a little bit from here on. So if you guys are just here for the knitting stuff, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, it would be awesome if you did so. We are, on that note, rapidly approaching 400 subscribers. I just did my 200 subscriber giveaway. The winner, I read off her username. Her name is Sally, and she lives in Canada, and she has been a delight with understanding how difficult it was for me to get to the post office. Small town. Our post office closes at like 4:15. So when you run a small business that is open during those same hours, it's very difficult to get there. So she was just a joy, but her gift has been sent off to her. So rapidly approaching 400 subscribers, and I'm sure I will do another giveaway for it. So stay tuned for that. But if you're just here for the knitting, I'm going to talk about one knitting related thing after this, but it's more chatty. So thanks for watching. I would love for you to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. If you like the chit chat, stick around and I will just chat for a little bit. So bye, knitters. Okay, let's get through this final stuff so we're not here all day. First of all, for anybody who was like delightful, I was so nervous to talk about our puppy just because he was from a breeder. And I know I shouldn't have been so nervous. You guys were fantastic. You were delightful. I know people are like, screw what everybody else thinks. People to our face have been like, well, I really prefer a rescue dog. And I'm like, me too, me too. We are not on the same side. But I've developed a thicker skin about it. Sully is great. He is now almost 12 weeks old, gaining pounds by the day. I think he's up to like 35 pounds. He is largely potty trained. He's getting along with radio delightfully. He comes to work with us every day. He is learning to be a proper Wyoming dog and be off leash, which is, we come from like city dogs where you never take them off leash. Here it's just like off leash is no big deal. I go to the gas station and there's just like dogs outside and they belong to somebody. They're not abandoned there by any means, but they're just hanging out. And that's the Wyoming way of life. So me, like, panic. When I saw him off leash the first time, I was like, he's going to run away. He's going to run into the highway. He's going to get smushed. He's doing fantastic. It's just like, I'm trusting him to listen. And we are obviously enforcing a plan of, like, obedience and positive reinforcement and gentle discipline and all that, and he's just responding really well. To be 12 weeks old, I'll tell you what, I thought he was going to be big and cute and super dumb, and he is not at all. He is a bright little guy, and he's picking up on stuff, and he's just great. So thanks for your support about the puppy. He is doing awesome. The other thing that is, well, actually two things I'm remembering right now. I was at my local yarn shop in Jackson, and they had a sign on the door, and it was for, I wish I had my phone here with me. Maybe I'll insert a picture. I just took like a picture of the flyer that they had on their door, but it was for an upcoming spinning weekend in the end of September. And the girl that I was talking to about it said something about you had to have a wheel, and I was like, well, as if I needed an excuse to buy a wheel. But then I looked at the flyer in more detail, and one of the courses is actually for spindle. So I'm thinking about it. I really am. I am like get it together. I'm so socially awkward that it was such a nightmare to think about going to a room of people that I don't know and having to spend all day with them and being awkward the whole time. But I might push myself out of my comfort zone and try and go. I do think it's on a Saturday, which means that I would have to leave Alan at the shop alone. I don't know how that's going to work, but I'm really, really thinking about doing the spindling class. And then I started following on Facebook a different local yarn shop in Wyoming. It's in Laramie, which is nowhere near me. It's quite a few hours away, but I think it's a big yarn shop. And they posted about an upcoming Wyoming Fiber Festival. And I was like, yes, I need to do this. It is at an old prison. I think it's now a historical site. I want to say it's, if I remember, I saw it literally just this morning. If I remember correctly, I think it's called Territorial Prison. That is now, I saw something about haunted tours, and I am not about a haunted tour. I would probably cry and then laugh because I was so scared. I was just like, I'll laugh hysterically because I was terrified. But I think it's at an old prison that's a historical site now. And they're going to have vendors. None of the workshops were really up my alley. They were a little more, they were more about like felting and reworking sweaters, and nothing that I would personally take. But that's fine because I really can't be there for like a full festival. It's a few hours away, so I would probably go overnight and then just go in the morning and then come back. So I'm really thinking about it. I don't know if anybody is in Wyoming or on like the Colorado border. If you're in like the Fort Collins area, it's really not that far away. But I'm going to keep my eye on that. It's coming up in a few weeks, and I so badly want to go to some kind of festival that I might be going. And in which case, all plans for not stashing out the window. I have not had access. I really want to get some like Wyoming fiber and Wyoming yarn. I really do. And I don't see it very often. It's nothing's at, I don't want to say nothing. There's a few at the place in Jackson, but not a lot that I've seen. So if I was in a room of like Wyoming vendors, I might lose my mind and go wild. So, I guess that's all for now. I should go check on my puppy, make sure he's not ruining our house. And thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully I'll be back in like a week or two. We're not going to let it go so long. I'm going to have updates. Maybe I will have a sweater at least partially sewn together. Although I'm sure you're going to tell me that I have to block it before seaming. And that might delay things. So thanks for watching. It's been great. And I will see you guys again before long. Bye.